This video is going to show how easy it is to submit CFD and FEA workloads to HPC clusters and cloud by using the TotalCAE platform. Now, TotalCAE platform is an easy use solution. In just a few clicks, you can be submitting jobs, opening desktops, getting billing information, everything that you need to do to submit C simulation and make it very easy to use, totally managed by TotalCAE in your data center or in your cloud subscription. So let's just take a look here. When you first log in, you'll see a list of applications that you use on the left-hand side. We support about 150 applications, which you can find on our website. But when you log in, I'm going to pick Ansys Fluent here. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload a model that I would like to solve. I'm going to upload this to the cloud system. I'm going to make a little test directory. And then I'm going to upload a case and data file that I have already saved on my desktop. Now, if you're not familiar with the journal file or case and data files, if you're an Ansys user, these are standard Fluent things that you can learn. And we're going to show in a minute how you could also just use Ansys Workbench. So I'm going to pick that journal file. I'm going to pick 96 cores. I'm going to run on this AMD instance here. It's called HPC6A48 extra large. It has a 96 cores and a few hundred gigs of memory. Pretty nice instance. I'm going to put a cap on the simulation. I happen to know this simulation takes like 3 minutes to run, so I'm going to put some kind of large, limit on how long it could run to cap my maximum cost. I can see that the cost per hour is $2.88 for this node as it turns on. But if something would go wrong, and maybe it doesn't solve as fast as I thought, or it doesn't converge or something, I don't want it to spend more than $5.76 on the simulation. So I hit the button. It's going to give me a job ID. Now this runs a scheduling system in the background, and I could do things like reorder this job. I could cancel it. I could do a lot of different activities, and I could have a whole bunch of people submitting jobs that all will queue and kind of coordinate, and I can order, based on how much CAE licensing I have, which ones will run next. Now in the cloud, it now will power on one of my cloud nodes. Once the node is booted, it starts the billing process. I can see I have some other virtual cloud nodes here that are just waiting for work. Once the node powers on, I will have the job will run, and then I'll be able to easily download the results. Now this is one way if you want to use a portal in a batch mode. Another way, which is a new feature of our portal, is you can turn on a cloud desktop. Now I've already turned this desktop on, and I picked a project to bill it to. It's costing about $1 an hour, $1.34 an hour while my desktop is running. I could just then click on the URL that connects me to my cloud desktop. And I have already loaded Ansys Workbench here in this video. And I have already imported my case and data files into this little widget. And now I'm going to set up to solve. Now, setting up to solve through Workbench is quite easy. I just have already configured RSM, and this is going to let me submit right through Workbench to the cloud clusters simply by right-clicking and choosing Update. Now, I can monitor the entire solution right here in Workbench. There's a little job monitor that comes in. Once this submits, in the same way, if there's enough Ansys licensing, the machine will boot up. It'll run my job, it'll turn off, and all the time I could sit here in this Windows desktop that's on the cloud, and I don't even need to leave my Workbench environment. Now, in this case, it's still handy to have the TotalCAE portal because I can see, what's kind of going on behind the scenes. I can see this Workbench job is running. I can see, the status of which node has been assigned. I could even log in and examine here, the directory that all the temporary files are being written to, so that I can, examine anything in case something's going wrong or I want to look at the transcript file or any kind of deeper dive as it's running. So once this job is finished, then the nodes will shut down and the billing will stop. And I can see it's already finished. And then after the solution is downloaded back to this cloud workstation, then the nodes will power off and the billing will stop. Now, the other thing that is included in our system is a nice to use billing system. So whether you use RSM or I showed you the portal, you can have projects and build these various cloud activities to projects. And then you can get an easy to use reference of where did all my simulation budget go. It helps you stay within your simulation budget by saying, let's say a project has $10,000. Well, you could just see as the project gets wound down that you're staying within your budget. You could have multiple different projects you can have access to. Project managers can assign users to projects and put limits on projects and individual users. A lot of control, but all of the billing is around the idea of a job or a simulation job. So it's really easy. If you've ever seen a cloud bill, it's just like pages and pages and pages of stuff. You'll have a real hard time of saying, like, where did the money go? Who spent it? What jobs were it on? How can I, make sure that I'm using my funds as an engineer effectively? How much do I have left? Now you could also then easily export all of that. If you wanted to see all of your jobs, you could export it all to Excel and then open it up in Excel and see, all of the details on these different simulations. Now, a final way, we've talked about, the billing. Another interesting aspect is, the portal is nice, Workbench, do different GUI tools, but sometimes, that can be not the most efficient way if you have to submit 50 or 60 jobs. Maybe you have a bunch of, you're in an application that has lots of load cases, for example, and you're not going to, you have all your load cases in different directories. You're not going to want to have to click a whole bunch of times. Even if it's only a couple clicks, it's still, kind of tedious. So you could use what we call T-Submit. We can get a terminal here right on the cloud cluster. I could do everything via the command line if I was a command line user. But this command line version of our portal has all of the same features. You can pick queues and versions of software and when will the job run and comments and so on. But in the most simplest case, I say T-Submit my application, my input model, and I want to run 96 cores. I hit enter. And it all interoperates. It works just like if I had submitted from the portal. This job will solve. I can monitor everything via the command line. If I want to use command line tools, I could even cancel these jobs all via the command line and never really, have to leave the comfort of the command line if you happen to be a command line person. Now, they also include a full-blown analytics and reporting monitoring package with it on this analytics tab. So if I wanted to see, zoom in and see like who's using the cluster, how often are they waiting, how often are jobs pending, how long does it take for me to sit in a queue before I get, access to resources? Because even though in this example I'm doing this on a cloud system, I may have basically unlimited hardware capability, but I will not have unlimited licenses in many cases. So you can see, are you pending on licenses? Do you need more CA licenses? We'll even monitor your CA licenses usage for you. You could also get details on storage usage. This node details is quite handy. Maybe when a node goes on and off and I want to look back, well, maybe I ran the node out of memory. Maybe I need a kind of machine that has more memory. Well, how do I know? I could go back and I could look and say, okay, I know my job is ran, at this particular time. No job ran. Let me just pick one that's actually ran here, 210. So I can go on to my analytics tab on 210 and just say, okay, here I am running. I'm going to zoom in on it. I'm going to dial right in and say, okay, did I run it out of memory? No, I didn't. But let's say it did fail and I ran out of memory. That might clue me in. Maybe I need to pick a different instance type that has more memory so this job could complete. So very handy to, look at the analytics of what's going on while the jobs are, running or have ran in the past when the machine is no longer around. So those are some of the very high level features of the TotalCAE system. You can see in just a few clicks, I was able to, submit jobs. I could submit jobs via a portal, via desktop using my normal Windows interface. I could do it via the command line if I'm a scripting person or want to have a real efficient way to do those. Now, if you know one application, you kind of know them all. Similarly, I'll pick Abacus here. It works the same way. You pick a solver version, you upload your IMP file. You select what queue or partition or type of hardware you want, you push the button. So once you know one of these applications, you kind of know how to submit any of the applications. And if you ever run into an issue, we have TotalCAE University, which will help you walk through how to submit your particular solver, or our support portal, which has common questions, many facts, and handy guides. Or ultimately, you could email support@totalcae.com or call our help desk. Or send an email and someone's going to be able to assist you in getting running. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a particular question, feel free to reach out at info@totalcae.com.